It's a beautiful day in Pearl Street Mall in Boulder, Colorado. Can you ever imagine a flood wiping all of this out? The Big Thompson was a flash flood that occurred on July 31st, 1976. It was a devastating flood and it had destroyed many homes. This flood had also taken many lives. Up to 140 people died in this tragedy.
Cars were buried. You can see this truck here, houses washed off their foundation. 144 people died. Only 139 were found. 5 people were never found. That's how bad the flood was. Most of the people that died were in cars. They got swept off the road. Cars are a very dangerous place to be in floods, and the Big Thompson taught us that. And as a result of the Big Thompson flood, you see these signs in Colorado now at the entrance to all the canyons. They say, "Climb to safety in case of flood." On that night, 800 people survived the flood by getting out of their cars and going up the side of the canyon to safety, and then over the next couple days, helicopters and whatever they could get in there were bringing people to safety. But it was Colorado's worst natural disaster, not its only natural disaster, but its worst natural disaster, and unfortunately it happened to occur on the state centennial celebration.
Matthew Kelsch has been interested in weather since he was a child. In 4th grade, his teacher actually wrote him special tests on the subject. He knew by 5th grade that meteorology was the job for him. Matthew Kelsch is a hydrometeorologist in NCAR's Cooperative Program for Operational Meteorology Education and Training, also known as COMET. The program has courses and computer-based learning to meteorologists and students. Matt develops and delivers educational material for professional meteorologist groups.
So this is rain gauge. Water funnels in through the top here, and then we read the water that's in that middle tube. And the reason why it's designed like this is in the middle tube it amplifies the rain, so we could read it in very, very good detail. And in the winter, we take this out and measure the snow in here, and then we melt the snow down and measure the liquid, because we always want to know how much liquid is in the snow. It varies from storm to storm, and in Colorado, it's always important how much water we're getting.
Are these rocks natural, or are they there for a purpose?
No, these rocks you see here, if you notice, they're cemented in. These aren't natural, and they're just upstream of the bridge. And the reason why these rocks are put here is they break up the energy of the water as it moves toward the bridge. Because if we didn't do that, the water would erode away the land underneath the bridge. Just like when you're at a beach and the water is going past you, the undertow, you feel your feet sinking into the sand. The same thing would happen to the bridge if we didn't control the water. The bridge would sink into the soil and collapse. So these rocks break up the energy when there's a flood and keep the land stable. You also notice there's rocks along the side of the creek, and that's called riprap. And that's the same idea. It's designed to break up the energy of the water, so during a flood, the banks here wouldn't collapse into the creek itself. So this is all part of flood control, and if you look up this way, you'll see that it's deeper, that the floodway is dug into the land. You see the walls on that side and that side, and this is to hold a huge amount of water in a big rainstorm. In a big rainstorm, that opening there would completely fill with water. That's called the 100-year floodway. That's the amount of water we expect to come through here about once every 100 years.